team right after the game. Every night in this league, it's a fight. And it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what night. It doesn't matter what venue. Every night is a fight. And when you're not ready for that fight, and you're not ready to get involved in that fight, this is the outcome. And we were not ready to be in the fight tonight with South Carolina. It wasn't an indication of our practices. They were good. It got physical at the very beginning. They stood us up, and we stopped cutting as much. We got our heads down because we weren't scoring. And the fight is the loose balls. The fight is the rebounds. The fight is the communication when it's not going well for you. The fight is continue to cut and move when it's not easy. There's a lot of things that go into a fight, and we didn't do that. We didn't do that, and we've got to get that back, because that's what every night in this league is. That's why it's such a good league. Obviously, we don't have the physical size necessarily that some of these teams have, especially like a South Carolina, but that's not an excuse to not have the fight. And we've got to regroup quickly on that. So, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, I guess I'm just kind of wondering your philosophy on technical fouls. Sometimes it seems like when there's a really bad whistle going against a team, a coach will kind of unleash. There were some calls that looked on the replay screen like they were.
Yeah, I'm not sure. My vantage point that when you're, if you think, I think a technical foul is if you think it's going to really change the outcome with your team, and if it's going to change in the sense of how the game may be called for a few. But when you're in a situation, I've never had anybody ask me that, by the way, 20 years as a head coach, so that's a first. But bottom line is, I think you don't want to put your team in any dire straits. I've lost a game because I got a technical in a game and lost the game by 1. And those kind of things are not easy to live with when your team is fighting tooth and nail. If I thought something like that would have changed our demeanor tonight, then that would be something that I'd consider, but that's not how I saw it. And I'm not, it just is what it is.
You mentioned this. Okay, you mentioned this league, and like, what is so different about the SEC exactly than the other leagues you push?
I'm not sure. I think it's not that the league is so different. It's that we don't have the. Well, first off, we don't have the experience and the size on some of these teams like tonight, and we didn't battle. I mean, we played like a very young, non-physical team tonight, and it doesn't matter what league you're in. You can't do that. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. You can't do that. And again, it's we can't walk into the game and say, okay, we're as physically big as this team, or we have what they have up front. We don't right now. We don't have that. But we still have to be able to be in a situation where we're aggressive and where we're in a fight.
You discouraged tonight, Coach?
Discouraged? No, disappointed. I don't really get discouraged. Disappointed because I want them to play. I'm disappointed for our fans. I'm disappointed in our effort. You want your guys to be successful. So discouraged is not. I don't really go there. I don't think. Angry, disappointed. Yeah, those things happen. But we've got to overcome it, right? Like, we've got to overcome this lack of aggressiveness, because we've had it in some pretty good cases. And tonight we didn't have it, and we can't. This league, when somebody imposes their will on you, like they did tonight, you have to fight back, and we just didn't do a good enough job of that tonight. We cut it to 14, but we just didn't do a good enough job of that.
What can you say about Jordan? Was his play something of a bright spot for you this night?
Well, you know what? I think when you lose the game, the 75-59, it's really probably tough for the bright spot thing. So I really can't give an answer on that one right now. Maybe I'll watch the film and I'll feel better on the bright spot.
Coach, it's clear there's no passes tonight, but your team has played some pretty gut-wrenching defeats. I mean, sometimes is there anything to the psychology of bottoming out?
Could be, but I mean, it didn't show up in the practices. Could be. Yeah, it could be. Well, we got to overcome that. We've had some very close losses. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had some very close losses. And so, this is where we're not in a situation where it's going to be, I've said this before, we're not in a situation where it's one or two guys leading the way with the level of toughness, and it's not one or two guys leading the way with the level of leadership. So it has to be more collective. That's what it has to be. If one or two guys can really, really springboard you in that direction, okay? Now you're moving forward. But when you don't have that, it's got to become more collective, or you have what you have tonight. And so it's the same thing when you lose. You've got to be able to overcome it. You've got to be able to move forward. And that's what we have to continue. We are what we are right now in the sense of there's not anybody that you look out and say, okay, they've been through some great wars and they know how to get through them and be successful. We don't have that right now, right? I mean, that's just a fact, right? So we've got to be able to overcome it together. And I think that's why this rebuild has its moments like this. You know, we've got to be able to build that up because we don't have those guys that are falling back on some sustained success experience-wise in college. And we just have to build towards it.
Well, when you start off kind of shooting like you did tonight, I'm sure some of that was South Carolina's defense. Their tough.
Yeah, it was. We didn't make too many times. I'll let you finish the question. Too many times we got in the paint rather than make the next kick, right? And they were just dropping off the bigs constantly to go to block shots or to be through. Keep the ball alive, wait, make one more pass. When we started to make our run and got it down to 14, we were getting ball movement. That's our game, right? That's what our game has got to be. And we didn't start out doing that very well. But I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, when it starts as bad as it was, I think it was 0 for 17 or something to start. Is that a helpless feeling on your end?
No, not at all, because I didn't even know that till you said that. No, it's never about offense and that. Like, we're going to get some good shots. What we got to do is get good stops, all right? We got to get multiple stops. We got to get 3 stops in a row, 4 stops in a row. We've got to get rebounds. We can't defend well and then somebody slides down and gets an offensive rebound because somebody was unaware, right, and standing straight up. That's the kind of stuff that we've got to be able to overcome. And so to me, we're going to get back in it offensively. Now, if we don't make the shots, that's another story, right? That's another story. The shot has to go in. But it really became, okay, we've got to get this to the foul line. All right, we've got to get to the foul line. We've got to be able to set our defense. It's not the jump shots right now. They're not going. So we've got to get something at the basket. And we were able to get into the bonus, you know, in both halves. But the game has always got to, there's got to be something you can go to. And rarely, as offense, your worrying point. We got to get enough stops so we can get our running game going to get those easy baskets. And that's what we never got done.
2 more questions? We just talked to head coach Frank Martin while he was in here, and he said his second year at both of his programs was definitely his hardest year. Has that been your experience here?
My second years have been, I don't ever talk about it publicly, but the second year at Marquette and the second year at Indiana, those are tough. So I've lived that. You know, I don't like living that, and I'm not saying that I am. So we got to get better, but year twos are difficult. They're difficult, and for a lot of different reasons. We're extremely young, and there's times that it shows itself more than others. And tonight was one of those nights.
He said a lot of his was for lack of leadership. Do you feel like you've had that issue either here or at Marquette or Indiana?
Yeah, you know, I just covered that. I just talked about leadership. It's got to be collective, right? We're trying to get collective leadership right now. You know, that's all a part of it, absolutely. Anybody else? Leadership's a huge part of it. Leadership and toughness. Leadership and toughness. You can't win on the road, you can't win at home. You've got to have those things. And we've just got to continue to find a way to get it collectively. So, thank you.